You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that? Wasn't me, Coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn.
All right, welcome to the Straight Red Card. Did you hear your dog in between those segments?
I hear her all the time. What are you talking about? She's right here.
She's playing a big tuba, but totally out.
It's all on inhales too.
Yeah. Welcome to the
she plays the tuba like Jimmy Carr laughs.
Man,
on the intake.
She sounds like she needs some breathing help there. I'm in my new abode, but I'm sitting near the porch so I can, blow stuff out the window. Just stuff.
He's awfully gassy, guys.
Yeah. All right, we'll start with the dirt in the background. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, mostly 50 plus. Welcome to the Straight Red Card, the greatest soccer show on the net. Breck Shea is the GOAT GOAT. All right, thank you, Turd. Appreciate that introduction today, as you have been providing them for some time now. And that's great. I did go up and visit my parents this weekend and drove by your house when I drove, because you're just off that, well, you know what road. We don't need to give people directions to your house.
My address is...
Let's just say it's a really nice way of getting from Noblesville back to Fishers without a lot of pain and agony sitting at lights. I really love that back way. It's really awesome. And so I drove past your place, but anyhow, I stayed there and on Saturday and Sunday, and I just came to notice, see, my parents in their backyard, you remember my parents' backyard, it's got the canopy and the big, huge trees and shit. We used to have squirrels and chipmunks and birds, and there are no more chipmunks, there are no more squirrels, and there are no more birds. This family of hawks took over our fucking area about 4 months ago. Their backyard in the canopy, and they kill everything within sight. Like, you can't find a chipmunk. All the chipmunks are dead. All the fucking squirrels. The big ones are still alive, but there are no little ones anymore. There are the little squirrels. They're all dead. All of them have been eaten by these hawks. And they make the horriblest, screechingest, loudest noises. Yeah. They're very beautiful. They're quite large, but man, they just kill everything within a 2-mile radius. So
they'll have to move on eventually then.
My mom is the biggest lover of animals, birds, and all that. But she's like, I've thought about it. I've thought about taking one of our guns out and shooting those motherfuckers because they're killing everything in the neighborhood. Like, my mom loves her little bird feed house things, and having the cardinals and all the different birds come.
I can understand birds and stuff like that, but squirrels are dicks.
Well, the other thing, the squirrels
break into your house, they chew up wires in your car.
That's true. I mean, at least chipmunks are cute. But the squirrels, they entertained my parents' dogs. They run around on the rails on the porch and that surrounds the house. And my dogs would chase it from window to window to window to window, just going berserk. My parents like that kind of shit. So anyhow, that's it for the wildlife.
Like a robot squirrel just to go along the porch, and Dad can just sit there and control it.
You could probably buy one of those. I'm sure they exist. Mm-hmm. I know you can buy those robot owls to scare off, like if you have other, deers are dicks. Deers have ticks, which rhymes with deers are dicks. Deers have dicks. Some deer have dicks. The bucks have dicks.
Rabbits are pricks too. Back in our old house, we planted some hostas. They're growing big. The next season, nibbled right down to the bone. I'm like, oh, you fuckers. Yeah. So as they grew back out, I sprayed some water on it. I took some cayenne pepper and never had a rabbit nibble on them ever again. I can just imagine.
Yeah, because you burned his face off.
I can just imagine some grandpa, rabbit sitting in this, little with this herd going, "Don't ever eat that. I shat fire for a week."
What is this Watership Down? Have you ever seen Watership Down, the movie?
What water ship down? No.
Watership Down.
Well,
Gotta see it. It's classic. It's about a whole family of rabbits. It was done in the late 70s, or I believe the late 70s. It's a cartoon, but do not show it to your kids. They will not sleep again at night again. It is brutal. It's a battle between two different, what are they called? I don't know, whatever a group of fucking rabbits is. It's one group of rabbits and another group of rabbits. And Watership Down. I mean, I'm sure folks out there have heard it, watched it, seen it. There's a book called Watership Down as well, which it was based on. It's a brutal movie, brutal. And then they're not only fighting against this other tribe of rabbits, they're also near a farm, and they're trying to find a new burrow because at the beginning of the movie, the humans come because they're building a new development on that land, and they fill up all the rabbit holes with some sort of boiling water, and it kills half of the tribe. It's fucking look it up when you're done tonight. Just check it out. And make sure you watch it before you show it to your kids. Just go, oh, look, it's a cartoon. No, it's not really a cartoon. It's bloody in hell. All right. Breck Shea, Inter Miami are loaning me back to Stoke. I've got unfinished business. Yeah. In the locker.
I love the picture that goes with it.
Yeah,
that's a throwback. That's a throwback to the old school.
It is. It's a total fucking throwback.
I don't even know if we barely have made reference to.
We have
before.
Yeah, in fact, I think I've used the photo of Breck Shea, but it is an actual photo of a llama that looks like Breck Shea. And it says, "I met Breck Shea at the zoo." All right. More questions? Do we have more?
Jose Lopez says, "What's it called again?" The movie.
The movie is called Watership Down. Watership Down. There's a book and a movie. The movie is violent as fuck, even though it's a cartoon and it's about rabbits. So just beware there. But it's an amazing tale, an amazing story. It's not, I wouldn't call it a date movie. If your date likes animals and rabbits.
Fucking rabbits.
It's pretty fucking traumatic, but it's an amazing story. And yes, they do talk in it. All right, more questions. Has anybody mentioned that they know what Watership Down is yet?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
What was it? It was we pulled back up. David D is talking about it. It's the story about how humans destroyed their habitat. So they was each other.
So they fought each other?
Maybe.
Yeah, different tribes were forced onto the same land. Yeah.
Tanzania.
Of course you do, Berlin. You're about sort of my generation. So yeah.
So Berlin was on a hiatus of these social medias for about 3 months. I'm sure his life felt nicer.
Yeah.
But he's back.
I feel nicer every day because I've been abusing our posts. I have not been putting them on Facebook lately. I just got sick of Facebook too. You know, it's like I'm already sick of it.
I just got to the point where I literally just share it with Facebook and then I close it out and walk away. I don't even go back. I don't even know how many notifications I've got right now.
I know. I don't either. I haven't been there for 3 weeks. So maybe I'll start posting them back up there again because we did get a lot of people introduced to the show through Facebook. So Tamale Killer. Watership Down was mandatory reading in high school. Really? Oh, reading. Okay. I can see it reading because I guess you'd have to make up all the murder and blood and guts and biting each other and drowning and shit. All that wouldn't be. You'd have to make that up in your own head. And so the author doesn't have to, take responsibility for your nightmares later. See, I watched it first when I was a kid. So, it was a cartoon. We rented it. I took it home. I couldn't sleep that night. Casanova, same. I quit the Facebook 2 years ago. Yeah.
Facebook.
I know it's hard to deal with. It's not as probably polluted as Twitter, but I don't know. I don't know. I just got bored of it. Same old fucking opinions over and over again. Snore. Yep.
Monty's already. Yeah, she's like, I agree.
Berlin. It's good to have you back, by the way. So hopefully you'll stick around here, even if you take a break off of social media. Broke up with my 7-year girlfriend. Oh, no shit. Wow.
He's been coaching 3 or 4 teams too, man. Understandable why he didn't have any time to get on Twitter.
No kidding.
Just get on Twitter anyways. Come on.
Hopefully those teams don't have to play each other. That would get confusing. I don't use Facebook because I'm not 50. Oh, I feel so old. Yeah. Hey,
right.
it was hip 20 years ago, man. Come on.
Yeah, all those people who were like, oh, there's this new thing called Facebook are now 50. I agree.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think I got on it first time when I was 35, 36. Is that about right? That sounds about right. Somewhere around there. Okay. Next question. How you guys like the new digs? See, well, it's cheap.
Fancy.
Yeah,
fancy,
I'm gonna replace that, or maybe not. I mean, it works. It's just I don't know. It's okay.
What's in too much light?
It does, but I don't sleep out here. This is the living room, so I've already made sure my bedroom is pitch black at night. Sensory deprivation, but except for sound, I have the fan, so I can't hear anything. But it's kind of like your dog, but constant.
That's why I keep her around. I need to go to sleep, Monty. Go to sleep.
That would make you sleepy, wouldn't it? One more thing I was going to bring up.
That's a great point. They're just bringing this up now. I never noticed it. But yes, the lighting does look better, and Derek's camera is looking good.
Oh, I thought he was going to say Derek's looking good. All right. Well,
the camera.
I'll take it. I don't know how they know what the camera looks good.
Well, I mean, you used to be in a dungeon, and the one light was like right behind your head, so it was kind of like a silhouette of Derek.
I don't have a dungeon anymore, folks. The dungeon is gone. I sold it. It was, thank God I got rid of it.
You got out of that town. Get out of that town.
That is way too many square feet for a person, one person. Yeah.
B-Town is meant for the young, Derek. It's good that you came back up here to the adults.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad. I was in Bloomington since I was 18 years old. 17 years old. That's all, 18, 17, somewhere around there. That is a long time to be in one place. So, it was sad leaving, but it's not the same place anymore. And I just got sick of the whole insular crowd, too. I know I was part of it, but got sick of them. I got sick of them. Got sick of the mayor. Got sick of everybody that fucking's on city council. I got sick of the Historic Preservation Commission. The only thing I didn't get sick of was being on Bloomington Restorations because we were fighting the good fight.
You're like, you demo one more old building, and I swear to God, I'm going to pack up and leave. Well, look, he left. He's out now.
I used to start calling, and people would not think it was that funny. I would call it the Bloomington Demolition Commission because we approved so many demolitions.
This is going to be the whole the Noblesville talk here for a second. But you know that by the Kroger that's downtown Noblesville, you talked about what that new building is going to be, and I said I think it's going to be like a parking garage with like
apartments.
I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, so
there's like windows just on the staircase. I don't know if they're going to be like hacking and slashing windows out of the cement walls, but
no, you've lived here a lot longer than me, but I know what it is.
Oh.
So it is a parking garage, and on the outside of it, they're going to build apartments. So for every floor, we'll have its own parking garage, and then on the outside, surrounding the parking garage, will be an apartment.
Gotcha.
So that's what you're seeing is just going to be the core. My parents
are. That makes sense now. I'm with you now. Okay.
That's the parking garage core, and my parents.
They're like, how are they going to get windows in this? This makes no sense whatsoever.
I know. My parents hate it. They fucking hate it. They're like, why? There was music. They had the fucking, 3
movies, depending on the year. I mean, time of year.
But then they also had the farmer's market there. And they just ruined it.
There's a big empty parking lot across the street, I guess.
What a bunch of dicks. They're lucky I don't live in fucking Noblesville because I'd be coming at them.
Square buildings, the worst.
From a restoration point of view. All right.
So I guess all of our questions on Twitter are going to be related to our topic. So I guess let's go ahead and talk about what the topic is.
Okay, well, hold on. I just want to know, has anybody else had Kinder's Buttery Steakhouse? It's been recommended to me 3 times for steak. I'm getting a little bored of salt, pepper, and garlic powder. So
how dare you?
I know, But I've been doing it for a long
Seasoning
time.
sent down from the gods. Salt, pepper, and garlic. That's all you need.
If you have a great steak, that works. But I've had some pretty poor ones. So I'm looking for a different flavor to just
You've been tenderizing with some Coca-Cola, haven't you? Like, oh, God, I got to break this thing down, man. This thing's chewy as fuck.
Yeah, but I did watch Guga do that on YouTube. Guga Steaks. You ever watch that guy? Guy knows what he's doing with steaks. So anyhow, if you've heard of this and you like it, let me know. Or if you have a recommendation. I mean, I've tried tons of different shit. So, but this was recommended to me specifically. So I'm going to give it a shot, and I'll let you know how it turns out.
Try some Famous Dave's.
Have tried the Famous Dave's. I do like Famous Dave's on pork a lot. So
thoughts on ketchup and steak? I've killed for less.
No ketchup on steak, man.
Here's the thing: if you're gonna buy a steak, don't ruin it by slathering it with a sauce of some form. I'm just saying, you're spending so much money on it.
What's that sauce that everybody does use?
A1.
A1. Don't use that. That's
If you're using A1 on, I'm sorry to say, and I'm sorry if there are people who actually like A1 sauce, but if you're using A1 on a steak, you're cooking your steak wrong.
You might as well just rub it. Yes,
you're doing it wrong.
You might you're
not doing it right.
You might as well just rub it on your ass before you eat it if you're going to do that. Really, honestly.
Here we go. We got
all right.
Christian Burke says smoked paprika.
I like it. Yep. I had a mix I had my own homemade mix that had paprika in it as well, along with onion powder.
Baby Ray's does not go on a steak. I'm sorry to tell you that.
No, that's for pork. Pork and chicken.
A1. Nah, it is shit. I agree.
Like shit.
I don't even know how to read this. Is this in Farsi or something? What is that? What does that say?
Yak is gross. You're wrong. Steak is delicious. Although
this is our new foodie talk segment, guys. We brought you all in here thinking you're going to talk about soccer. We're just going to talk about food now.
We're gonna fucking hour of food.
Chili does not have beans or belong in spaghetti. Fuck you, Cincy. Didn't mean to click on that.
I actually have
use Baby Ray's on steak all the time.
I've had the Cincinnati chili on the spaghetti. I actually liked it. I have to admit it. I'm not gonna lie.
We're gonna split our listening base here, man. People are gonna be fighting in the comment section. Oh my god! Don't use Baby Ray's. Use Baby Ray's.
Oh god!
I saw this. This was a phenomenal quote. I forgot to go back to it.
Derek equals the life aquatic with Steve Sisu.
Appreciate that, Jose. That's a great comment.
That is a great comment. It's a great movie too.
Fantastic. The star favorites, I guess.
What character is he saying that I am?
He's you're Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. Okay, yeah. I can live with that.
Walk around the hat, wear a blue little tracksuit, kind of aquatic thing, and walk around. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. Bill Murray and I are cut from the same thread, actually.
Oh, so you've got a good sense of humor. Is what you're saying.
Sort of. All right, what do we got? You want to start now? Did I get the steak thing out of the way?
Yeah, I thought that was a good topic. We got a lot of people talking about it. Yeah,
about steak. Yeah, I mean, listen, we had the best pork last night. Ribs. We had ribs. My mom cooked it in the slow cooker thingy, and then my dad threw it in at the very end when it's about to fall apart onto the grill, and just got a nice sear. And boom, it was fucking delicious. So I love living this close to my parents. I just go over there for the weekends and eat like a pig. It's fucking like a king. It's great. And I don't pay for it. It's even better. Oh, by the way, lobster rolls are a waste. If you buy fresh lobster, don't make a lobster roll. Just make the lobster and eat it with butter. I saw
Sagnan, what do you do with steaks? Let us know in the comment section here.
That's a cook. All these, what the hell? He said all these takes are what?
Garbage.
Which takes?
All of them.
Salt, pepper, and garlic?
I think that's a straightforward one, actually. I think that's what everybody should do.
That's what we usually do. I'm just looking for something different. And this one has yeast extract in it.
Here's a topic that's going to divide people.
Just cook it till it stops mooing. That's my personal favorite.
Medium rare.
You like medium rare? I don't mind being a little bit on the red side. I really don't. So as long as it's got a nice sear on the outside, I'm pretty good to go.
Everybody in chat, leave how you like your steak.
Okay.
And medium rare is the only right answer. I'm sorry to tell you.
By the way, in Pete's comparison to was it today with Wales, he said we should play a 3-5-2. And now I think he meant we should play it like he wants us to play a 3-5-2. But I'm just breaking the news to him that's not happening. So
we got a blue. He wants it thrown in the grill for half a second each side.
Ugh, I can't do it raw. Can't do it raw.
Rupert, you're so wrong. See, D-Max got it.
I like a little pink. A little pink in there. It's okay with
me. We got Vinso with the rare.
I'm close. I'm closer to rare than medium. Let's put it that way. But then, it's not usually up to me when I'm at my parents' house.
Here we go. From the chef himself.
Salt, pepper, garlic. Yeah, that's what we
Touchdown.
do. That's what we said.
We're on the same page here.
Yes.
That's all you got to do. Yep.
Okay, mid-rare. He likes that too on yours. Okay, and he's a chef. This guy's a chef that's talking here, Spagnum.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a trained chef, but I'm not a chef. I'm a chef for myself. Yes. Although my grandfather was a chef, so I don't know. Can you pass that down? I learned all my cooking from him. Not all of it, but anyhow, we should probably get to the topic here soon.
Absolutely, yep.
Okay, let's do it. So let's talk about what this is all about. We were just talking the other night about, there have been some players in the recent past that have been a little disappointing for different reasons, though. Which ones were the most disappointing? And we were kind of talking about, like, even Aaron Johansson, et cetera. Like, is that really his fault that his hips don't work? So we kind of decided we're going to make two different lists. And one of those lists is, we're disappointed because they got injured and they could have been something really good. And then we'll get to the real other list of disappointing, which is just people who were highly touted and just sucked. They ended up stinking or being a lot less than they were touted as.
So I just wanted to pull up a couple of the comments throughout the show so far beforehand.
Yeah.
Because people brought up some good names, and we're just going to talk. We're just going to briefly bring them up and then move on to our list.
Okay.
And see if any of them stick out, because we have Berlin said Mathis.
Yeah, that one's interesting because it does stick out because he did make a World Cup team. He did score a goal in the World Cup. Could he have been even better? He could have, but not enough to make you really disappointed my ass list.
Definitely not my top 10. Definitely not my top 10.
I'd say he was.
I guess the issue is that there's the potential there, but he didn't live up to quite what we would expect.
Well,
we were seeing here, we got here, and here was still pretty damn good, but it wasn't here.
It depends on how you look at his time in Germany. Do you blame that on him for being a dick, or do you blame that on his manager for being a dick? The one who eventually benched him because
a personal chef.
Well, no, when Mathis was sitting all the pine and then he scored, he came in for like the last 10 or 15 minutes of a game and immediately scored. Okay. And then he went over to the coach and he did one of these numbers.
Oh,
yeah. He pointed to his watch and said, "That's why you need to play me, bitch." That doesn't work. That's showing the coach up.
Yeah.
Maurice had a lot of injuries. He did play in a World Cup. Wasn't stellar at it.
I thought he had a decent MLS career. I guess I wasn't necessarily looking at anybody. We went over to was it Celtic Rangers?
Yep.
And he played there. I mean, I don't know. I guess I wasn't really looking at his
played in England,
saying like, "Oh, good, he's going to be this almighty savior," and then didn't live up to it. I just saw him as a serviceable midfielder that played alongside Bradley.
I guess I'm not disappointed because he ended up being just about what I thought he was. Mm-hmm. So this is very, subjective, obviously. Any other outliers?
We got a.
Oh yeah, he
made
on the
list. Guys. Don't worry about
that one. He made the list for sure.
Don't worry about this guy.
Oh yeah,
right there. He's on the list.
Ricochet made the list. That whole black hole generation of players that never really evolved.
Mm-hmm. That was a rough handful or decade.
That's currently
a handful of years, but I was like, no, it was a decade.
That's why there are barely any players on our current team between the ages of 27 and 31. Dom Dar.
Here's one that I didn't think about. This is a good one, I thought.
It's a pretty good one, yeah.
Yeah.
He was kind of a bust.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did make a big deal about him switching. Well, we didn't, but others did. And
Well, I mean, you went through the whole era of the big soccer and stuff like that. And you have to remember our depth prior to relatively just recently, and even now, even though we're looking at all these starlets that are coming through the woodwork, our depth is still not necessarily there. If one would-be starlet flails and flames out, then it's like, oh my god, But,
I guess even though I was happy he picked us because he's never going to play for England anyhow, I just didn't really expect that much out of him.
Who's the Bunbury's another one that I thought he switched over from Canada. He was hyped up quite a bit.
Yeah, I never really thought he was that great.
I mean, I didn't see him being an almighty savior by any means.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't even really touted that loudly by. I mean, it was a very small minority.
Here comes our list.
John O'Brien, who's been on our show back in
2012,
and we had a great, 45-minute talk with him and talked about all of his injuries. They're just horrible, and it was really sad. But one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. I think if you just do a search, Straight Red Card, John O'Brien, you can find that. I think it's broken down into 3 parts or whatever. There's somewhere on the interwebs on YouTube.
We may have to go back into our past and see if we can bring back some golden oldies. Get them back on the show.
That was a good interview because we got really a lot of insight into 2002 and what happened at the World Cup. And Freddie Adu, that one's that's kind of a given. He made my list.
He's definitely. I think he makes everybody's list.
He's such an idiot. Andrew Carlton is one of the kids with he has good skill, but he's just kind of an idiot. He's like an immature moron.
I thought his stint with Indiana was going to be like a resurgence for his career, and then he did 3 stints at 3 different clubs in 1 year.
Yeah.
Now he's over with Donovan. We'll see what happens.
What was the thing, when they introduced all the new player signings? What symbol did he do? Or did he go like this? Or what was that? It was really fucking douchey. That's all I can remember. So that's really Andrew Carlton's biggest thing. He's a douchebag, douche bomb. And if I look up where he's playing, I thought it was somewhere in Central America.
No, he's over at San Diego Loyal right now.
Oh, but he did play in Central America.
He played for some U.S. He played for a Costa Rican team, I think.
Did he actually play?
Oh, fuck, you're making me pull my list right now. Huh? One second, I got him because he's on my list.
Well, while you find that,
he played in Costa Rica. He played for an MPSL. He played for a UPSL. Now he's with Loyal. So he's only 22 years old. That's a scary thing.
You say play.
Well, he played he was in 1 game for a number of those teams. So I don't know if he's brought in just for a cup game and kicked off immediately or whatever.
He never lasts.
What a weird fucking year that was for him.
Hopefully he gets a little humbled, but he's one of those guys that's really stubborn. Hey, what made me great in the first place is that I'm so fucking great. Wait, no, hold on.
We'll get to him.
Andrew?
Yeah, we'll get to him though. Let's keep moving down this list here.
Bobby Wood made my list.
Bobby Wood's in there. In the overall list, he's not necessarily on my list. We got Julian Green.
Yep, made it.
I would not agree with Onyewu.
Nope, I wouldn't either.
Now, mind you, he didn't play. He didn't really play for AC. Understandable, but I mean, he had a hell of a career with the US and a number of teams in Europe. So
when he signed for AC Milan, I never believed he was actually.
Oh, I did not believe that either. Yeah.
I thought.
I think the best thing that came out of that was his little kerfuffle with Ibrahimovic.
Well, that's what Right. He was brought there to protect the rest of the team from Ibrahimovic.
Yeah. Focus all your attention on me.
Don't pick on the little guys. I'll fucking defend them.
Yep. There.
Yep. Yes and yes.
Jose Torres.
I don't.
Here's the issue, though. He made a team. He got brought into the national team.
He made the World Cup team.
He got a lot. He did get a lot of hype. But he was so hit and miss. So I can understand why Matt's bringing him up.
I do. I guess, again, I thought he was what he was,
Anything Klinsman touched.
It's dick. All right.
Yeah. Let's see here. Just scrolling through. It was definitely Stu.
Yes.
He's on a list.
He's on the.
Nevin's not. Now, you know what? Nevin's not on anybody's list because he's no longer a U.S. national team.
Now, he ended up playing for Bosnia-Herzegovina, or is it Croatia? I can't remember.
Serbia, isn't it?
Serbia? Yeah, Serbia. And he was really disappointing for them. So he's a flop for them, not us.
Yeah, exactly.
So he barely played for them.
God, I forgot all about Connor Casey. Maybe he should have been on the list if I forgot about him. He had a serviceable career with Colorado.
He had an okay career in Germany.
Didn't do much for the U.S. I mean, he did a little bit here and there.
But he is what he is. He's a target striker, poacher. He could lace one from outside too, but I never really thought he was going to amount to that much anyhow.
Not this one, but the next one. So Edson Buttle.
Yeah.
Steve Sampson as a coach.
Yeah, I can see that one.
God, I'm almost done the list. Okay, here we go. We're down the list. Okay.
So we go to our list now.
Well,
some of you got a lot.
Hold on, before we get to our list, do you want to go over our questions on Twitter?
Okay, let's do the Twitter questions on same topic. I'm guessing.
Yeah, they all should pretty much be the same topic.
Okay.
Here, let me zoom up a little more.
Speaking about flops.
Freud was right.
Yeah, but in the topic about teams, which U.S. men's national team was a bigger flop based on expectations, 98 or 06? I'd imagine the 06 team flopped harder, but the 98 team was just bad. Yeah, it's got to be 06.
Well, I mean, let's take into consideration the group. 06 had what? Czech Republic. They had Italy, and then they had Ghana. I mean, that was a pretty heavy group.
Yeah, we could have squeaked by Ghana and.
Barely. I mean, they did a damn decent job for the next 10 years.
It was a tough group, but honestly, the 98 team was pretty weak.
I guess there we go. I guess we look at that because if you're looking at the 06, you're looking at what the 02 team did, and we're coming into this flying high, sitting at 5th, ranked in FIFA rankings.
I mean, all the old guys that were already old in 94 were super old in 98 if they played on the 98 team. And then a lot of the new guys were just not ready for it prime time yet. So it was a pretty mediocre team.
I guess Chris probably has this right. 06 probably flopped harder, but 98 was just bad.
98 was embarrassing. 06 was disappointing.
Yeah.
So that's how I put it. Yep, Aaron Johansson came to Brett's mind for sure, and probably mine because I think I mentioned Bacon in my first text to you.
So we've been talking about it, for a bit. I remember Bacon driving home today. I was like, oh, shit.
Just so you know, we don't call Aaron Johansson, we call him Bacon.
He's Bacon.
Yes. Just so no one gets confused. I noticed we have new subscribers, so if you you're new to the show. Also, he looks like Kevin Bacon. That's the point. Ha ha ha. Aaron Bacon comes to mind. Before his accident, Aaron Bacon. Now I'm totally Kevin Bacon comes to mind. Also, before his accident, Charlie Chuck Wagon Davies. I'm not sure I like that nickname anymore. They're making a big to-do of it on the show. Come on, Jimmy. Make a new nickname for Chuck Wagon.
Real quick, look at this, Derek.
Okay.
It's reading your mind.
Hey! He made my list, baby.
Oh, he was on your list?
Yes, David Regis. That's David. That's how you would say David Regis.
I would say Regis.
Yes. When I said David Regis earlier today, you were like, "What the fuck's David Regis?"
You say what?
And
I didn't like. So Charlie was running high.
Yes.
Up until that accident, it was a horrible accident. It's so unfortunate that it happened.
And I think he's mentioned that wasn't the best decision he's ever made.
Oh no.
So
arguably it has to be one of the worst decisions he made.
Yeah. Getting in a car with a bunch of drunk people.
Yeah.
Probably not a good idea.
So
he's lucky he lived, frankly.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's lucky to have gotten back out on the pitch with all the metal rods he must have in his body.
He does. And he couldn't cut anymore. Like he was still fast north to south, but he couldn't east to west. He was garbage. He was done. His career was over.
But, I guess it's disappointing in the sense that happened. But I looked at the disappointments on my top 10 and the injury list being kind of soccer-related injuries.
Yeah.
So I didn't include them. I thought long and hard because that was a massive disappointment. When that happened, it was a travesty.
Yep.
And it happened during qualifiers and going into the World Cup. And it's like, oh my
not
God.
long after he and Donovan connected in the club in the Confederations Cup, and Davies was just doing great in Europe at the time too, and prior to that, and it was just devastating because all of us saw what the potential that Davies had to be, even play for bigger clubs in France or whatever. We knew he was going to be moving on up, and that Confederations Cup was just mind-blowingly exciting, and really disappointing in that sense. Yes.
Yeah. So horrible. I mean, unfortunate.
And
interested to see the list after Freddie Adu.
Well, it's just Freddie Adu, Freddie Adu, Freddie Adu, Freddie Adu.
Yeah. All 10 guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one, but it's questionable whether or not he's still even a Yank.
Yeah,
he hasn't officially played yet, has he?
No, he has played.
Called one switch.
He has played for Poland once now. Yep.
Okay. Well, that's no longer an us issue.
I think he's played for their U23s. I believe.
God, man, Ben was hyped so long. Big Soccer was just like flooded with his thread.
Oh, it was so outrageous too. Do they
13-year-old at Barcelona camp? Oh my God!
And his parents are rich as fuck.
Yeah,
and they lived near Barcelona, and they bought his ass onto the team.
They moved over to Spain just so he can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, they were loaded. And now he plays in Poland for one of the best Polish teams in the Polish league. And he was a regular starter last season, but he was never going to be on the U.S. men's national team. So, yeah, as big as he was blown up, yeah, I can see that one. Lewis Gill, same thing.
The days have been Junior Flores. And
Junior Flores made my list too.
No, he made my injury list. So, he spoiler alert, guys, but
Rubio Rubin did not make my list because I was never disappointed because I never really expected that much from him, to be honest with you.
He got hyped because he was doing well at one point.
Oh, I know all these players that we're bringing up were hyped by someone. Yes. It's a matter of whether at the time you bought it or not, and I did not.
Again, it was a time period where anybody who was playing anywhere in Europe was going to get hype, and you kind of just rolled with it for the most part.
Yeah. Yep. So. Exactly. I remember watching a U17 World Cup. This is from Mitch Desi, so I'm looking out for the you-know-what words. I think it may have been around 2000 or something, and the U.S. men's national team had that attacking midfielder Danny D. He was such a good 10, but never materialized. I don't even know who the fuck that is. Do you?
No.
Danny D? Is D standing for something? There was a Danny who played for Arsenal briefly, a young player.
Oh, there's a good name. Eddie Gavin.
Danny Carbusiani or something like that. So Danny K, I remember, but not Danny D. Eddie Gavin, that's a good one. I'd say he had such a solid pro career. It's kind of hard to throw him over the cliff.
Sorry, we did mention Dom Dwyer earlier in the show. Somebody else mentioned him, and maybe it was you, maybe it was somebody else. I'm not sure, but we did mention Dom Dwyer already.
He's not a bust for MLS, but he's certainly a bust for us.
Justin Mapp.
That's one of your boys.
Yeah, I didn't list him in my list though.
Well, I already did. Once you told me about him, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that guy.
I mean, I wanted to put him on the actual list, but he didn't make my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Rupert says, great topic, guys. Hard to beat Freddie in this one. I can't recall anyone who everyone thought had really high ceiling, and it just crashed so fast.
Yeah.
I said, LOL. Number one is pretty much spoken on everybody's list.
Yeah. I mean, even Pele was shocked how quick and how fast he fell.
But he wasn't the next one to me, you know.
I mean, even Freddie has admitted, just to be really clear about this, we're not just picking on Freddie. Freddie has come out and said so much. He said, I was lazy. I didn't focus.
We had Conrad to back that up too.
Yes. So Jimmy Conrad was on a show in 2012, 2013, and he talked about, national team practice when Freddie was there. Now, on the endurance runs that Freddie didn't run. He joked around with staff and shit.
I thought about it. I felt like if Fafa came back. He came to MLS. He actually came back to USL, and then he came to MLS, and had a decent career. And
I thought he was fine.
Okay, I guess the hype is that he was one of the few American players who made it to Italy. It was Cagliari, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he never really played there. And
sure, but you see him over there as an 18-year-old, and you're thinking to yourself like, this guy's gonna amount to something. But then
as soon as he stood us up for our show back in 2012, I was done with Fafa.
He's probably listening, going, "I didn't get the email."
He did get the email, and he confirmed that he would be on the show, and then he no-showed us. Yeah. All right, Fafa. I'm not holding that against him.
No, not at all.
I mean, I thought he did well for Philly. I'm not going to call him a flop. Gail Agbosamonde, he's on my list. Yep.
He's right there.
Yep.
Then we got Joe. Joe's on the list.
Yep.
All right. So Adam Wayne says the biggest flop has to be Wando in 2014, the World Cup against Belgium. And I already explained to him. I'm like, flops are more in reference to never have met the hype or promise.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, what a great time to be a U.S. men's national team fan. Between you guys, Pete, Tech, Sam, and the crew over at Best Soccer Show, we truly have an absolute wealth of information we didn't have previously.
Hey, man, we appreciate that. We're friends with almost all those guys, except for the Best Soccer Show guys.
They mentioned us when we about Miazga kicking the Berhalter's dog, right?
Oh, they quote us, yeah, but they never use the straight red card by name. That's okay. Maybe someday they will. Maybe we'll have them on our
Nothing
show.
but cordial with them on Twitter.
No,
I think I've only ever interacted with them once.
No, they're very cordial. They often pick my comments when I'm on the show, and they post them up. So they're nice to me, but they're not. I don't think Jason has ever. I don't know. We haven't reached out to him, so it's not really fair to Jason Davis, honestly, because we haven't reached out. We haven't tried to get him on the show. I'd like to have him on the show because we don't agree on everything, and I think that would be fun. Just like Pete and I don't agree on a 3-5-2. So there you go. Chris Gary, thank you for the $1.99, and that was a big close-up, Brett. Thank you. Sebastian Soto is a good one. Yes, he's one of the young players that made my list. And Brett and I were talking about this. And he's
like, didn't make my list.
You have some young guys on your list. I said, I just know a bus when I see one. I just know it. So
fair, I guess. He only had a short stint with the youth teams that drew hype, but I was never 100% sold. So this is the big problem, because when you guys start hearing my arguments for players and stuff like that, I've picked a very youth heavy base. So like the youth national teams got super hyped and then it didn't amount to shit. Oh, and I forgot what I was going to say right there because you cut me off. Thanks, appreciate that, Derek.
I'm sorry. I just want to clarify something because I keep saying he's on our list.
Yeah.
Well, we had a big list and then we trimmed it down, right? So that's what we're going to do with you tonight. We're going to trim.
So Soto's on the overall list because he was hyped, heavily hyped, and people loved him. And they were like, "Oh, he's going to Europe. He's good." Where did he start off? Was it Wolfsburg?
Don't let him go to Chile or whatever.
Yeah. That was the big concern, wasn't it?
Yes. Jesus.
So I guess here we go. Here's my point. The overall argument, when we're looking at like the U20s that just qualified for the Olympics and U20 World Cup, and they're like, "Oh, this player, and this player is going to be great."
Yeah.
Let's pump the brakes. And of all of our U20s and stuff like that, U17s, we generally have about 2 players who end up being something, okay?
Yes.
There are a lot of busts. There are a lot of like middling that play MLS and they don't really amount to much on the United States national team level. And whatever, but they're not.
Okay. So the percentage somebody broke down at one point.
Thanks, Chris.
Of every U20 U.S. men's national team, U20 World Cup team, the general percentage of the players that eventually end up actually contributing in some way to the U.S. men's actual big boy team in the future is 4%. That's how it works actually for every country too. It's not just us. Like, go ahead and check out, some of the other German U20 teams in youth World Cups. I mean, it's a tiny fraction of them end up amounting to a hill of beans, and some of them end up being 2 Bundesliga players for the rest, or 3 Bundesliga players for the rest of their lives. So,
you watch your mouth on this one.
I'm already Slanina on the bus list.
He's gonna be our all-star goalkeeper, and he came from Chicago.
I'm not sold yet, but I'm not throwing him under the bus yet either.
He's 18 years old. I mean,
yes, he's
a solid goalkeeper right now, and he's got a huge trajectory forward. Now, whether or not he meets his mark, and 10 years down the road, we might be back here saying, like, dude, that Gaga Slanina, man, he was a bust. He made my list.
In goalie terms, he's an infant. He literally is.
He's a tiny little guy.
Yes.
This is his first season. He's doing okay.
Goalies don't start at the age of 18. Yeah. This is rare. This is a rare steak. All right.
Yeah.
Are we done?
Yeah, those are all the questions on Twitter.
All right.
Twitter was not heavy today.
Drums. It's time to reveal the list, and we're going to start out with the guys that are disappointing because
I do want to bring one thing up real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Because we were talking about the U20s and how U17s and how they pan out to the national team level. I just wanted to bring up the all-time goal scoring list for our U20s. Because this is a who's of goal scorers for the national team too, guys.
Yep.
Look at this list.
Drum roll. Breck Shea comes in at number 1.
Yeah, Breck Shea had 17 goals with the U20s.
Freddie Adu.
17!
I mean, Freddie Adu played what? Looks like 6 years.
Yeah. He was in 7 U20s. I mean, come on. Of course he's gonna have 16 goals. How many assists does he have though? That's my question.
Yeah, I bet you it's a load. Romain Gall. Nobody even knows where he went. People think they hear Romain Gall. They're like, well, is that a seasoning? No, it's not. It's a player. He plays at Malmo, and we haven't heard much from him. So there you go.
Jammers remembers.
Yeah, Romain Gall was hyped up even after he left Columbus, even though he played, in the Great White North in Europe.
Here's your boy.
Danily Zella, the guy who threatened to kick my ass. And that's not why we have him on the list, but yeah.
Just want to stick him down a peg or two there.
He got injured. Yeah.
Scott Kennedy is before my time.
Yeah.
Don't know what he really amounted to.
He was one of the...
His page does not exist.
So I don't remember him ever contributing to the U.S. men's national team. So he just didn't.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have a wiki page. I mean, not that that's a be all, but still, I mean, I'm sure we might actually have a wiki page.
Dude, if he ended up playing at MLS, look at the years 92 to 93. MLS started not long after that. He should have been a contributor.
He would have been in his mid-20s, about that range.
So he needs a wiki page. If he played for MLS, it's pretty obvious he didn't. So back then, though, we were playing with basically collegiate players. So
Eddie Johnson following up just behind with 12 goals, along with Jacob Peterson.
Eddie Johnson makes a list because he had more hype. Jacob Peterson, nobody really hyped him.
He was a decent MLSer.
He was a solid MLS guy. Abobasi.
Yes.
We
just found out that Will John is not only a YouTuber, but he's got almost 850,000 subscribers. He is killing it at YouTube right now.
Yes, and he still plays overseas.
Still plays, yeah.
Second division of what? Croatia? I think we.
Yes, it was Croatia. Yeah.
But at one point, man, he was pretty highly touted. Chad
Jeremy
Barrett.
here. Jeremy's still playing and doing well in MLS.
Yes, he is.
People are arguing that he deserves a look at the national team bowl. Not this cycle, though. Next cycle, perhaps.
Maybe next cycle, but I don't know. I mean, he's doing well. He's doing good at scoring goals and poaching, so you can't fault him for that. Chad
Barrett is great for 60 minutes, and then he becomes gassed.
Yeah, he never really tickled my. And then, oh my God, Quinn Sullivan.
Quinn Sullivan, look at.
Jesus
I mean, he's on a list with giants.
This is a
Giants.
Bad omen for Quinn Sullivan. Very bad omen.
Hopefully he goes the Jeremy route and not the Breck Shea route.
You do not want to be on this list, Quinn. So
hopefully the next U20 cycle somebody outscores you, Quinn, because you don't want to be on this top 10 list.
I'd let Paxton score all the goals next time. All of them.
I guess fair play, Freddie. Eddie did play for the national team. He did score goals.
Yeah. I still put him on the
not
list
a flop, but
because, there were high hopes for Eddie. And then he went to Fulham, and it was like...
Well, that's the thing. We got to take into consideration, guys. Yeah, he did play for the national team because there are a number of games that were going to be all MLS space, but then he also played with the big boys, too. I'm not saying he wasn't an 18 player at times.
Yeah.
But he did come into his youth, into his professional career on a freaking high.
Yeah, he's not going to make
everybody on this list freaking high.
Yeah, Eddie Johnson's not going to make our top 10. He'll be one of the first guys we cross off.
Yeah,
but it's amazing the consensus we're getting. We might have a few left that people haven't heard yet, but we'll see. All right, are we ready for our lists? Drum roll. Brett, are you frozen? Brett is frozen. This is not good because I don't have the list. All right, well, assuming we are still actually on air, which is fine. I'm fine. We're going to start with the injury list because there are a number of guys who are on the injury list that we all know about. I mean, let's talk about one of them. Taylor Twellman. You can't really blame him.
I'm back.
Okay, hey.
Good Lord of Metronet, get your shit together. It was struggle busing before the live stream, and I'm going, oh my God, I swear to God, if this happens during the show itself, I'm going to be so fucking pissed.
It was like, man, I'm going to have to get a lot higher than this to do the rest of the show by myself.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I just started talking about the injury list that we're going to first pop up here.
We're going to do the injury list first. 1 second.
So we separated them. We didn't think they belonged in the same group because some guys are disappointing because they got hurt all the time.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And they failed because of injury. It wasn't because they couldn't have mounted to something. They could have, but we'll never know in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
But Charlie Davies, high ceiling, I thought. That was it. We've already talked about it. Danny Zetala, too many bar fights and then, injuries that when he came to MLS to play for DC United, eventually had to be released. Then he had multiple surgeries.
I see you don't have Mark Pelosi on this list.
You could put him on there because he did break both of his.
He had two knee injuries.
Yeah.
He was out immediately after that second knee injury. So
he only broke his leg in 2 places.
Yeah. So I mean, he had I think he deserves to be on that list.
But then he came back to MLS and was given a shot. And so maybe it was injuries after all. You could put Zelalem in this if you want to go that way, even though Zelalem still plays in MLS. Plays is a nice way to put it.
So I thought your inclusion of Taylor Twellman was interesting because I thought he, outside of his national team career, and I'm not bashing it by any means. He played a number of games, he scored some goals, but as a whole, I thought he had a stellar club career for New Zealand. So, but I found it difficult to include him on that list.
We're talking about the U.S. men's national team, so I'm including him because I thought he was one of our best strikers, and he missed the World Cup every time because of an injury. That's disappointing.
Danny's trying to sabotage the stream. I knew it. I fucking knew it.
He's not.
He's out there. He's out there cutting fiber. I saw it.
He's not smart enough to do that.
He's probably one of our big listeners. He's probably okay.
He's gonna find out where I live eventually.
he's narrowing it down. He's got a picture of Indiana. Like, look, just moved up to here. Okay. So there's only so many apartment complexes. I'm like.
He's no genius. He won't find me. All right. All right. John O'Brien. That's obvious. For me, he's the biggest disappointment in this group because of injury.
100%. I mean, everybody can see the thing on the actual list you have listed here. So let's just go ahead and go down our top option, our top failures because of injuries.
Yes. I'm going to say John O'Brien is number 1.
Absolutely.
We're going to do a top 5 here, and I'm going to say Charlie Davies is number 2.
I didn't include Charlie Davies because of the reason I mentioned before. So.
But now that he's on the list, would you?
No.
Why?
Again, it's not a soccer related injury. I can't necessarily claim that his career was a failure. It was a failure because of the injury. Yes. But
for all we know, John O'Brien injured himself surfing. If we hadn't interviewed him, we don't know that.
Possible. Who knows?
I
can only go off of the injuries that were reported by the club while he played the sport.
Okay, Can we just include him? Can we?
You can.
What?
He's at the bottom of your list now.
All right. But again, we know Will Packwood had a pack of injuries. It could have been on one of his. It could have been on his Woody.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, well, I mean, let's be frank on him. He had a severe leg injury, and then he had 2 lone stints where he got season-ending injuries.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are all soccer specific.
So you're going to include.
I'm not going to include Charlie Davies in this list.
You're going to include Taylor, but you're not going to include.
No, I'm not including Taylor because Taylor didn't make my list.
Well, fuck, we hardly have anyone left then to make a top 5.
So I had John O'Brien, my number 1. You agreed.
Yep.
I got Stu Holden next.
Okay.
Stu Holden was on an upward trajectory, doing well with Bolton, doing well with the national team. Had 2 horrid injuries, like career-ending injuries. But he came back, and then he had another career-ending injury that actually did end his career.
But so did Taylor. He could have had years left in his career, but he had all those fucking head injuries.
He played club up until like his 30s. So I mean,
I don't think so. I think he stopped
when he was. Pull it up on the.
He stopped when he was 28, dude.
I hate looking up stuff.
He had at least 4 to 6 good years to go. He really did, Taylor Twellman.
Let me look. Tight shirt Twellman. Make me look it up.
Well, you want to be right?
He played until 2010. I don't know what that really tells me.
Well, then you got to find out.
So take 12 years away. He ended at 30.
30. Okay. All right. Well, he also missed every World Cup because of injury. Because he could have really contributed for us. He would have made those teams. He would have made them. All right. Then who do you have in number 3?
I got Josh Gatt.
Yeah, dude was fast as fuck.
Super fucking hyped. Ridiculously fast, but also had an insane amount of nagging injuries.
He'd been timed on the 40, and he was as fast as world sprinters.
He was just getting so hyped up because again you have this winger who's just like insanely stupid fast.
Yeah.
And he's not bad with the ball either.
He's pretty technical.
And then all of a sudden, injury. And it's like, oh my God, this hurts me. It hurts me to see because he could have had a very promising career. And
then his wife got cancer. And
wow, I didn't even know about this, man. Stop.
Oh, it just got worse and worse, dude. Oh. Yeah. So his wife got cancer. I believe she did, but
thank goodness for that.
He had signed a contract with MLS, and they didn't pay him when they cut him he was released from MLS. Remember, he came here and didn't play that much. And so that was an article I read about his struggles and his wife's struggles since she had cancer. It might be his girlfriend or his fiance at the time. I don't know if they married or what happened there. I hope only the best for them. So, All right. Well, that takes care of a top 3.
I guess as far as somebody else who had an entire career that kind of got ruined because of injuries, I guess I got to throw Bacon at 4. He wasn't my 4th because I forgot about listing him. But I mean, he's just had a hip injury that just ruined his life.
Supposed to be chronic, and then they finally figure out a way to at least ease the pain while he played. Now he's back in Iceland, I think. So anyhow, he was last I looked, but he's never going to play for us again. No. So what's your 5?
I guess that'd be Mark Pelosi in this sense because I had him listed as 4 initially.
Okay, mine are 1, O'Brien, 2, Davies, 3, Twellman, 4, Holden. Well, I'd probably put Holden before Twellman. And then I'll go with Josh Gatt, 2. What the hell?
All right, well, I'm going to just run through my last 3 because those are pretty quick ones. But Junior Flores, very promising player through his U17, signed with Dortmund.
These are your honorable mentions?
Yeah, I guess since we only did 5, yeah. He had 2 big knee injuries and forced him early retirement. Charles Rankin, who I completely forgot about until you brought him up. And I'm like, that sounds so familiar. Who is he?
Dude, he was hot shit at one point. He was being blown out of proportions because Manchester United were after him in the news. It was crazy. So, it looks like Brett is frozen again. Look at his mouth's open. Maybe we can throw things into it. So I guess Brett's not going to give his honorable mentions. Yeah, forget those. Screw those. We'll just move on to the other list. The players that just suck because they weren't as good as they were supposed to be. Let's start from the bottom. Kenny Cooper. Who remembers Kenny Cooper? Remember when he went to Europe? We all thought, fuck yeah, Kenny Cooper is going to do something. But that didn't really work out. And he ended up, oh, hey, welcome back. I had moved on to Kenny Cooper.
No, it's a fair one. I didn't list, but
not on injuries. I had moved past injuries.
Oh, you have, good, because I was gonna say we better
Hop
speed
on.
around this shit.
Yeah. So let's start. Okay, we'll start with Jeff Cunningham. And the only reason he's on here because he had a stellar MLS career. He was a scoring fucking machine, but it never translated to the Nats. Even after he made the switch from Jamaica to us, just never fucking translated. So I think he played 14 times for us and only scored 1 goal.
It was not a great national team career for us. No,
But I don't think he makes my top 10
absolutely not.
because he had a really good MLS career and he was a good MLS pro, but he wasn't a great international, and that happens sometimes. Justin Mapp, I'm going to leave that one to you. You know more about him than me.
A promising youth career, signed with Chicago Fire, and then just throughout MLS.
But
didn't really have a career with the U.S. national team. I mean, he had a little bit of one, but
yeah,
he could have made my top 10. But I just had other promising players that I did not include that I included over him. But I'm gonna off.
Yeah, I agree. Breck Shea stays.
Yeah, he stays.
I'm sorry. He was built up. He went to Europe. He flopped. He was a joke in Europe.
He's our leading U20 goal scorer. Flop. Yeah, you're right.
What was the foolishness he did in the locker room there? He got in trouble with the team and with the press and the media because he's just a goober. He's a goober. He's a nice kid.
What that was.
Nice guy, but a goober. But he did get in trouble over there with the press and the media as well as fans and supporters. He did some jackassery.
Those spurts were few and far between. He did okay, but he's very inconsistent. Now it's his problem.
Yeah, bad porn star. You got to spurt regularly. Okay, Gideon Zalalem. Okay, was anyone higher on Gideon Zalalem than me, Brett, in the world? I was so high on this.
He makes my list just because of you.
I know, but I just thought there's no way this can fail. Then injury again. Then he doesn't really come back from injury and play like he used to. So it's pretty obvious the injury affected him. And now it's in his head. He's done. So he's got to be. If you were as big of a Zalalem fan.
I guess I didn't take into consideration his injuries. Is he on your 10?
Yeah, I'm going to leave him on this list.
Okay.
Because he still plays. So he supposedly over those injuries. Like he plays. He's still on the Man City, the New York NYCFC's roster. So Soto, he's a bummer, but he's not big enough to be on this list, and he could still correct ship maybe, but I'm giving that a low percentage chance.
He's not on my list, so
yeah,
I marked him off.
Bornstein's just cruel. People mentioned it, but I thought
that was rather mean. I thought
I mean, it wasn't a great U.S. men's national team, but I don't think anybody expected him to be that. In fact, people were surprised when he was on the team to begin with.
He still had a serviceable club career too, though. So I mean, I don't know. I thought including him, especially in the top 10, would be harsh.
Yeah, he's a disappointing. I mean, okay, all right. If you have your expectations set up in the right place, what Jonathan Bornstein did with his career and his U.S. men's national team play was probable. It was supposed to happen. It was not surprising. So I can't see he disappointed me because I was kind of like, Yes, he is on the Fire now. And he doesn't play badly for them, as aged as he is.
I was willing initially when he started playing and stuff like that. I was willing to throw him under the bus. which is kind of the hodgepodge of his career. But every game he played, I mean, there were some games that were bad, and he just wasn't willing to take chances or whatever. But he still did a decent job through every game. So I don't have a problem with him on Chicago.
Yeah. Terrence Boyd, I'm missing an R on Terrence. Oh, well, it happens. I can't include him. I know he comes up in a lot of talking circles, but damn, you're just like, fuck.
You've been removed.
You're clear. You are not.
Terrence Boyd is a big Berlin fan. Sorry, Berlin's a big fan of Terrence Boyd.
And he's now playing in 2 Bundesliga, and guess what he just did? Assist. And he was really important for Kaiserslautern, I believe, to come up last season.
Why didn't we include the other Boyd?
Because he
got a lot of hype when he made the switch.
Yeah, for like 5 seconds until his second game.
Watching him play. Like, oh, okay.
You know what? He is playing for Besiktas in the friendlies early friendly season. So who knows?
I'm glad that you're still here kicking it with us, man.
Hey, Berlin, am I being an idiot, or is not Terrence Boyd now on Kaiserslautern? I thought he was on Kaiserslautern. Am I getting this wrong? Let me know.
I don't know.
I don't have the notes in front of me. You know, it's a lot of players. There are 327 players playing overseas right now. It's a little hard to memorize everybody's team. Julian Green. Can we leave him on for now?
No, I'm keeping him on here.
Okay, good. Because I'm not sure. I mean, we might have to break this down at the end. This is like we're just cutting this in half or more if we can.
Hopefully more.
Can you use that same market? No, don't use that big marker on everybody, because try to find a middle marker that doesn't eliminate their name completely. Okay. No, I meant on Terrence Boyd. Can we back that up so that people can know at least he was on the list? I know I'm being picky. There we go. We can still see his name that way. Use that one from now on, because I can barely see your crossouts for Jeff Cunningham, Justin Mapp, and Sebastian Soto because they're so thin.
All right, so Julian Green staying on. How about Andrew?
He's more of a dumbass than a disappointment to me.
I'm keeping him on the list.
Really?
Yeah.
For being a dumbass, for being a douche.
Well, I mean, it's more than that. His career is shit in comparison to what people were expecting of him to do.
I think the pose he did for his Indy 11 introduction was this.
Pew 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 pew. No, so I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of hype around Andrew in that sense that they were expecting him to play at Atlanta and then work his way over to Europe relatively quick. Again, we have to remember, as long as his career has been, he's still only 22. That's ridiculous.
But nothing like having your general manager and both of your first 2 coaches say you're an immature punk.
Well, yes, he would be, quite frankly. But
that's embarrassing.
That's still the main reason why I want to keep him on the list. Benny Feilhaber.
Any chance Carlton turns this around? Any chance, Brent? Okay.
No, I don't think so. Not at all.
Yeah, you got to have an IQ above 80 to do that. All right.
He's had such a unique career so far. I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Benny Feilhaber had some good moments for us in CONCACAF Cup.
As the best ever Gold Cup goal.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to keep him on this list. He was disappointing. Because
unless you can make a convincing argument,
I'm not going to make a convincing one. I did wish more for Benny Feilhaber's career.
He was in Europe, and when you have players over there, you're sitting there going like, all right, let's see what they can do, and then they don't. He struggled
at Derby. He didn't really get a chance at Derby though. No one gave him a shot. I mean, when he did, it was like last 10 minutes here or 15. I guess you got to take those chances when you get them, even if it's 10 minutes or 5 minutes. But that career never really panned out. That's too bad.
Yeah, but nobody's arguing with that. All right.
Oh, God, I feel so bad picking on Andrew Carlton. But if he wasn't such a douche, it wouldn't be so easy to do. All right, Joe Guy, yes, I get it. But he did come back from that injury, and he has played, and He was on Cincy for a while. I don't know where he is now. But anyhow, I wouldn't say it's a total flop, but he was part of that Rankin crew where you're like, oh, yeah, those guys are going to be good. And they both went to Hoffenheim together.
Yes.
Yep.
So again, he was in that 07-09 U17 hype train. It led to a promising European career, but then he toiled around with all the second division teams, like and then eventually he ended up back at FC Cincy and didn't really pan out much there.
He was at St. Pauli for a while.
So it's one of those players that were just like super hyped that just that's why I'm keeping him on my list.
Okay.
But he's on my list. So.
Eddie Johnson contributed way too much to the U.S. men's national team to be on here.
I never considered him.
I never thought he was that great anyhow. Timothy Tillman, I just threw him on here because
hold on real quick. My one memory of Eddie Johnson was the goal that Landon Donovan scored against Mexico. And I forgot the old Mexico goalkeeper, Sanchez. And Sanchez tried to do that little slide tackle thing on Eddie when he ran by that nobody called out. I was like, how did CONCACAF not punish Sanchez for that shit? That was bullshit.
Yeah, that's a good memory. All right, Timothy.
One of the few memories of it.
I don't have a lot either. I just remember him playing at Fulham and being a total bust. Just like every minute he played, he was just befuddled out there. Like he did nothing, absolutely nothing to impress. And he got some minutes at the end of games, and he would just look like a moron. Like there'd be a great pass right to his feet. He'd have a breakaway, and he'd like dribble it like way too far in front of him. The goalie would just bend down and pick up the ball. He'd be like, "What are you doing? You had a breakaway. You just kicked it to the goalie." All right, Timothy Tillman. He's only on here because even before his younger brother Malik was highly touted at Bayern Munich, fucking Timothy Tillman was the bomb. Everyone's talking about Timothy Tillman. Willie, please play for us. Please play for us.
I'll still take him.
I know, but he can't play for Germany, folks. He never could. So it's not a disappointment because he was just overhyped.
Yeah.
David Regi, leave his ass on there because we struggled to get this guy onto the World Cup team. And he was French. He didn't speak a lick of English. And we busted our balls to get him on the team. And he was one of the worst defenders on the team. So he deserves to stay.
It's coming up next, so I figured to go ahead and highlight because I knew it was going to come.
Bello? Yeah. Why is Bello on the list? He wouldn't be on my list. What we tried to do is put together a list of a lot of people were bringing up that we see around, blah, blah, blah. And so we just included and Bello, what did come up? People have mentioned Bello already. It's not, we're not. We put him on the list, and the reason that he's got to be crossed out is even though he's been extremely disappointing, he never developed. From 3 years ago, everybody thought, boy, if this kid just keeps getting better, he's going to be amazing. Well, no, he didn't get any better. That's the problem. So there's that. But is he so disappointing that he needs to be on this list? No, but he is disappointing.
Well, and
he's not even starting in the preseason for Bielefeld. Ugh. He didn't start the last game. He got like 13 minutes.
So. Well, and I know that you're a little harder on Bello than I am, and I'm not a big fan of Bello by any means.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah,
overhyped player, but he still has time to turn it around, but he won't. Just let you know. I'm not saying if you don't believe that, you don't have to write him off your list. I haven't written him off, but I put him on the lower rung of players that I think are going to bounce back from what is no progress really in his career. And being in Germany doesn't seem to have helped him either make that next step.
He's only been there for like half a season, so we'll see what happens. But mind you, now he's in Bundesliga too, so
he was in Atlanta.
Hopefully he's actually going to play for them.
If he doesn't play for a 2 Bundesliga team,
it's not a look, but
it is.
Won't hope if he's acting as backup to Jedi that you would hope that he's at least playing in Bundesliga too.
No way he's coming with me to the World Cup if I'm Greg right now. No way.
No.
And I don't even think Greg's given up on him too for the time being. Listen, lightning could strike the guy in the ass and he might turn out. So who knows? It's too early for Lannis for me to put him on this list.
I mean, I can understand why you'd bring him up.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see how he pans out. I mean, yeah,
He hasn't
I
shot.
guess you can make that argument for Soto as well, but Soto's been around the block in Europe and has failed at just about every country he's been in. So
Soto's been in everybody's bed and everyone's kicked him out of the bed.
Yeah.
So Lannis, I'm going to give him more time. I think he's had some little injuries here and there too. I know Soto has one right now, but that's not been his major problem with his clubs. So Lannis, I'm going to give some more time. So too early. Am I a little disappointed by how it's turned out since he's been there? Yeah, but not disappointed. Just a little disappointed. I'll give you more time. Where were we?
Juan Agudelo.
Major disappointment.
I'm keeping him on the list.
Yeah, for as big as he was boasted as being the future, and then he didn't even have really being a really good MLS player either. He was a bench player for the Revs. Yeah, totally disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Just bad Klinsmann pick. Bad Klinsmann. That was when Klinsmann did a Nostradamus, right? He's like, I project Juan Agudelo will be a world championship type player.
Do you remember at the time there was talk that that there was some interest at Colombia, and people were all like, busting your nuts saying we got to get him signed. We got to get not signed, but we got to get him in. We got to get him into the whole thing. So
yeah,
I don't know. It was an interesting player that just never panned out.
Another player in the Breck Shea generation that went. All right.
Lee Nguyen.
Also in that generation, but not as disappointing as Juan Agudelo. Lee Nguyen had some great MLS years. He had some really good years in MLS. I think he was player of the year one year, wasn't he? In MLS. I believe he was.
It's possible. I don't recall. Was with New England or LA?
New England, when he was there with Jermaine Jones.
Yeah.
I believe he's player of the year that year.
I mean, yeah, he had some quality years with him. Hold on one second. Gotta boot some peeps.
We got
get
porn.
Out of your porn bots.
If you're gonna do porn, do it in German or don't do it at all.
Yeah. That way you don't know what's happening.
I'm laying down the line.
Lee Nguyen was a very interesting one for me. And oddly enough, he makes my list, and that's just because it's personal, and not because he did anything to me by any means.
You can't do that.
So Lee went to IU while I was still there. So I got to watch him play at IU. It was great. And then all of a sudden, MLS comes knocking and say, "Hey, we got this wonderful Generations Adidas contract for you." But also what came knocking was PSV, and PSV is like, "Hey, sign on the dotted line."
Mm-hmm.
And Lee did the right thing and chose PSV.
Mm-hmm.
And he did okay at PSV. Ended up bouncing to Rangers. And
PSV 2.
He played for PSV as well.
Okay.
He played a couple games. He didn't look like a fish out of water when he was there. Let me put it that way. But he was also a lot smaller than he was when he was MLS. The MLS days.
Yeah,
he was a little more built up, a little more. Yep. He hit the weights apparently, right. Because when he was at IU and when he went to PSV, he was a rail and knocked around a bit.
Yeah.
After Rangers, he tried to come back to MLS. There were a number of teams interested in him, but MLS offered him. Apparently, this is what was mentioned, but MLS offered him the minimum contract for MLS. Because they felt a little. I think they felt a little snub that he said nah to the GA contract, and went to PSV. So that was kind of a running rumor that the people who said no to the GA contracts when they came back to MLS later, that they were kind of lowballed and offered like the bare minimum MLS contract. And I don't know if it's just if they felt snubbed or.
Let's face it. Most of those offers in the era that Lee was coming back in for what were going to be basically just the bulk players, they weren't getting offered much. I mean, that's before the new agreement on pay. So everybody's getting shit on at that point, unless you're at the top of the roster,
Yeah. Once MLS offered that contract, Lee goes, "No, I'm going to go to Vietnam."
Yes, I remember.
Toil around there for 2 to 3 years. And it's just like you're looking at the trajectory of me personally, because again, I saw him live at IU, and I had my own personal idea of how good this kid was, and he was very good. It's just I don't know. I saw higher than Vietnam, and then later on in his career, he came back to MLS and had some good MLS seasons.
He had one incredibly good. Let me finish. One incredibly good MLS season where he was one of the best players in the league, and I think he was nominated for MVP. And then next season, Brad Friedel came in, and now Lee was asking for DP money at that point. All right,
deservedly so. Yeah.
And Rev said, "I don't care about your MVP season. Adios." And that's what happened to him. And man, Brad Friedel could have been the worst manager that ever managed in MLS. Lee, love you, long time, Gwen. Well,
so I'm fine with marking him off. I wanted to sort of keep him on here just to talk about it, because this is a player that I know, oddly enough, quite a bit, despite the fact that he didn't have quite the career that most people were probably expecting or hoping for. Since once he signed for PSV, people were going, "Oh, he's signing for PSV. Oh, this is gonna be great. We have a player there. Haven't had a player there since Beasley."
That's why you hog the floor, right?
Yeah.
Well, just mark.
You know what? He went to IU the same time you were at IU too.
There's a word for that in politics when you hog the floor. What's that called? Anyhow, I never went to IU games, so I don't know. No, you know what it is. It's when it's the shit they're trying to get rid of. So if you do this during a debate on the floor of the House or the Senate, and you can I think it's the Senate, excuse me, and you do it so long, and if you can do it overnight, and you can do it for 8 hours, 12 hours, you just stand up there and speak, and you're trying to basically, it's a way of protesting the bill that's being discussed. And then everybody gets up there and does 12 hours and 8 hours and 10 hours. And you're like, God, I'm never going to vote on this bill because, it's just going to go on forever. Why can't I remember that word? It's like a word I should know, and I don't remember it. All right, just cross out Junior Flores. We already talked about him. He was injured. He shouldn't be on here.
Hello.
You're back?
Yes, we gotta speed around this shit.
Okay, Junior Flores, just cross him off.
I had him listed in injury, so no, yeah.
Yeah. Mario Rodriguez, yes, I know he was highly hyped, but man, he never really made it that far.
I didn't hype him as much as everybody else did.
Yeah, neither did I. Same thing with Kiesewetter. He was another Klinsmann pick. And I thought when he got to Miami, I thought maybe he might do something, but nope. Didn't happen. Lewis Gill.
Staying on the list.
He's staying on the list. When Arsenal says, hey, come play for us, and you say, nah, I don't think so. You made a mistake. Benji Hoya, I always thought he was highly overhyped, Benji Hoya.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Bobby Wood, going to stay on my list, I think.
Fair play.
I had high hopes, and he's really one of the only guys from the Breccia era that looked like he was going to pan out. So
Jose, as just a straightforward no other dual national American, I had really high hopes for Gill too.
I had no idea that Lewis Gill was a Mexican American. And by the way, it's only one L. I made him into a fish. All right. Gail
Boss.
I never rated him. Ever. Did you?
He had all, just from when he went to Europe and stuff like that. He was hyped. He was super hyped up. Went to Europe and again just threw.
Yeah, but he had those corrupt agents, Brazilian agents that were also running
fair play.
NASL.
Yeah,
those the same dudes, and they were really shady. So they kind of fucked both him and that other kid.
Yeah, I do recall that now you bring it up. Yeah, I didn't think about that. But yeah,
there's a DC United kid they fucked over too.
He did make my list, but I'm fine with marking him off because again, he had the physical attributes, he had the opportunity, and he had a shit ton of youth call-ups. So I mean, hype. So that's the only reason why he made my list. But I'm fine with marking him off.
Yeah, he was never that good to begin with. Sorry.
Sure. I mean, a lot of the players we're looking at were saying like, well, the hype was ridiculous.
Yeah, but let's say Lewis Gill. I don't think the hype was ridiculous.
No, absolutely not. I think he made a bad choice.
I think he was one of the best players on that youth team. Dilly Duca, we can mark off. It's a funny name. But, he looked really good in the early stages of his youth career. Was a solid MLS player for a while. Never worked out in Europe. Preston Zimmerman just had a big fucking mouth, but he was never very good. He liked to fucking shit all over the U.S. men's national team whenever he didn't get called up, even though he barely played for crappy teams in England. All right. Mix Discarude. I mean, I know a lot of people, some people mentioned him already earlier. I just think he's not that disappointing because I never rated him that highly.
Well, again, going back to during his hype years, he was heavily hyped. And not only just for his talent, but
good
for
looks,
his hair.
Good looks and hair.
The Jesus Christ like flows,
I mean, he's enjoying his time in Cyprus now. I wouldn't put him on this list though, because he was never good enough. He was over.
You can make the argument. You could make the argument because again, he was called in. He had his opportunities and just did not amount to what everybody thought.
We're trying to cut this down to 10. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 already, including Freddie Adu, who's an auto on this list.
Yeah.
So Timmy Chandler, disappointing with the U.S. men's national team. Yes.
We talked about Mark earlier.
Yeah. We talked about Mark's double broken leg earlier.
Yeah.
So he would be in the disappointing because he got injured list.
Yeah.
I'd say take Brian Ching out of there. He contributed in CONCACAF. Wondolowski played about exactly as well as we thought he would.
Yeah, and Wando obviously had that big blunder in the 2014, but as a whole, I think Wando actually exceeded expectations.
By making the team at all.
And when he was at Houston, barely got any playing time. It took him going to San Jose just to become a consistent goal scorer player.
You can thank Klinsmann for him making that team.
Yeah, that was an odd picking there.
Yeah,
for obvious reasons.
Yeah. He gave good hand jobs. Oh, Kenny Cooper. I know he started at Man U, so I get it, but. I mean, he had a solid MLS career for the most part for FC Dallas. I don't see why he'd be on here. Did you ever rate him that highly?
He had a good year at FC Dallas.
He was hyped when he was at Man United.
Yeah, he was super hyped, yes. Again, one of those issues where a player, cracks a team in Europe. And at that time period, again, we're sitting there going like, oh, my God, Kenny Cooper's at Man U,
So maybe we take off Gideon Zalalem at this point because of injury.
Yeah, I'm fine with taking him off because of injury.
We need to take somebody off.
I mean, he did make my list, but I guess I really didn't take into consideration his injury because, he was a German youth product. He signed with Arsenal, failed loan stints, ended up at Kansas City, played for a year there, barely played there.
Yep, went to
only 16 games at New York City right now in 2 years, so it's just
mostly off the bench.
I mean, for all the hype he got, I mean, that's the only reason why I had him on my list.
Yeah.
But I guess I wasn't taking into consideration that he was injured at points.
Yeah. And he never really came back from those injuries. And he talked about it publicly that he's had a hard time figuring out to trust his body again. I think we can take off Andrew Carlton at this point because he's just a moron.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
We got to take one more off, right? How about Timmy Chandler? Because he was always played out of position as a left back instead of a left wing back or a right wing back. He never really got to play his own position, his real position that he played when he was having his great years in the Bundesliga. People always said
he's partnered up with Fabian Johnson. So I mean, if one of those has to play out of position,
yeah. So somebody had to play right back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had to. So
I guess my issue with Chandler, he's super hyped up. Obviously, we got this former German national youth product. And then he played it seemed like he didn't play that many games with us. So.
Yeah, he didn't show up, and a lot of times. So maybe he's more disappointing than Kenny Cooper. What do you think?
No, I'm thinking, I'm gonna reverse this. I wasn't overly disappointed with Kenny Cooper because I didn't think he was going to amount to much at Man U. And when he came back to FC Dallas, I thought he did okay, and he got called up to the national team and didn't do extremely worthwhileness there. But I wasn't overly hyped on Kenny Cooper. I mean, I liked him, but I didn't think he was a super stellar player that was going to, break it.
So we got 10 now.
Yes.
So number 1 is obviously Freddie Adu. Number
Yes.
2 is obviously Breck Shea.
Yes.
Number 3, Julian Green. I think.
Yes, I have him as 3 as well.
Number 4, Bobby Wood, for me.
Yeah,
Debatable.
sure, whatever. I'm fine with that because I had Gideon as my 4.
Okay. And then number 5, Juan Agudelo.
I wouldn't necessarily put Bobby 4 in my book, but whatever. I'm fine with
I guess I had more high hopes for him than you did.
I mean, I would put Gil over him, quite frankly.
Yeah, but Gil didn't make it to the Bundesliga and then signed for Hamburg.
Well, Gil would have made it to EPL, but he made a stupid fucking decision.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I'm fine with them being tied for 5th or whatever, where the fuck we're on. And then David Raji has to go on there as number 6 because he was a complete bust.
That's your pick. I'll give you that one. I don't really remember him.
We'll let you do 7.
Okay.
Out of what's left.
I guess I got to go with Juan here.
Okay. I'll do 8.
Just because he had higher hopes than Andrew, and although Joe had a lot of high hopes.
Yeah, but I had more high hopes for Timmy Chandler for personal reasons, obviously.
Sure.
So I'll let you do 9. And Andrew Carlton comes in at 10.
I mean, who didn't have Freddie Adu as 1? Let me hear it in the chat, guys. I feel like that was the obvious one.
Yeah, that was definitely it. So an hour and 30 minutes later, the show will be coming to an end. We want to thank everybody that came and hung out with us. We did notice that, yes, Football Americas is on at the same time as our show, which is quite irritating. We've been doing Mondays for a long time. It didn't seem to make a difference, but a lot of people are telling us, oh, man, you're on the same time Herc show's on. So hopefully, I don't know, we might readjust to Tuesday so we're not on at the exact same time. Do they have a show every day? I don't think so.
I don't know.
On ESPN
I don't think we change our shtick. We pretty much got our group down to
Monday, Thursday. Well, let us know down.
You know what, Herc, you change yours.
Let us know down in the comments what you think we should do, or whether or not you just don't give a fuck. You'd rather watch this than Herc and Seb and that other clown they bring on. Not the other clown, a clown they bring on to talk sometimes about issues. Because that guy always disagrees with Seb and Herc. He makes absurd assertions. I can't remember his name. Anyhow, thanks for coming up. We will be back from new abodes, new places of living. And once we get the studio built in Brett's basement, there's a possibility. And I might come over and help him do it since he seems to be dragging. Well, no, you're not dragging your feet. You just had major leakage.
Keep having water damage, yes.
In that fucking basement.
Again.
I don't want to.
The third fucking time.
Oh, because of the storms this weekend?
No.
Pipes
leading up to a spigot, I think.
Jesus Christ. Man, your inspector sucks. You should kill him. He blew all that. He missed all that shit before he bought that house. All right. On that sad note, until the next time on the Straight Red Card, we will see you soon. And in, Andrew Carlton style, I'm going to say good night. Now I don't even remember. The game is it's on Saturday. I'm not sure.
20s.
Yeah. I don't know what time.
I'm pretty sure they said it was the 25th on the game itself. And then Canada was playing on the 26th.
Well, I'm going to a dinner with my parents.
Let's pull up the website.
So I'm not going to be able to watch it live. So we're not going to be able to do a show. But I don't even know what time the game is.
Here,
no fucking
I'm just going to
clue.
share the screen so that way you can see it.
I'll just watch the replay.
I'm on the U20s page.
All right. The fuck? The game's in 2 days, dude. How hard is it to fucking get this information in?
Guys,
What the fuck? When are they going to wait a couple hours before the game for the date, match, venue, and broadcast?
fucking stupid.
Yeah, this is the problem, right? This is the fucking problem.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell